Well, maybe it is working. I don't know what's happening. So, hey, Gina, thanks for joining me today. I hope that you're able to see what's going on. And if you are, would you put a little note in the chat if I am still live? It looks like I'm live on this end, but I'm using Zoom for the first time. So there is a lot of new things to figure out. To say the least. Let's see, what am I here to talk about today? Well, let me introduce myself. I am Cheryl Jones. My company is Simply the Best Results, and I have been a trainer and a coach for the past, wow, 30 years. I don't even want to tell you how long it really is. It's a little over 30 years. And I have started the Joy Factor show to try to help people raise their vibrations to the level of joy. Joy is one of the highest vibrations on the emotional hierarchy chart. And I will show you my little chart right here, and hopefully you're able to see it. You'll notice that joy and love are the two closest and highest level vibrational frequencies. And with all the craziness that's going on in the world right now, I really feel like we need to talk about what we can do about it, because each one of us is not only under our normal daily stress with our work and our family and deadlines and whatnot, but we run into the challenge of the rest of the chaos, all the chaos in the world. Just because something's going on over in Ukraine doesn't mean it's not affecting us. It is affecting us because we see it on the news, and we not only see it, even if you choose to ignore the news and not know about what's going on in other parts of the world, we are still all connected energetically. And so we feel the pain and the fear and the concern of the rest of the world. And one of the things that is really a challenge is, how do we deal with that stress and that fear and that concern when we are not able to do anything about it? It's helpless. We are helpless to do anything about it. And so one of the things I wanted to talk about today is the tapping thing. You have probably heard about it, and most people refer to it as tapping. And you might see people do this and they go, oh yeah, I've heard of that thing. Well, it's formally called the emotional freedom technique, and it is EFT for short. The tapping technique of tapping into the meridian points on your body is one of the best ways to reduce the stress and the chaos that you feel internally when you've got deadlines piling up and children making demands, and you've got to pull your act together and make cookies or whatever to send to school that you might have to do, or helping kids with homework or whatever might be going on. This is a way to relieve some of that stress. So today I wanted to talk about that tapping thing, or EFT, and tell you a little bit about what it is. So the EFT uses, and I refer to it as the EFT because I was certified. I have an advanced certification in EFT for the past 20 years. It was 2002 that I got certified, which is hard to believe that I've known it and used it for that long. And what it is, it was originally developed by a psychologist, a psychologist named Roger Callahan in the 1980s. And it's funny because my mom learned it, and who's a PhD in psychology and a counseling psychologist. My mom learned it when she was getting her doctorate degree, and it was called something else at that point, had a real kind of technical term. Then Gary Craig came along and said, you know what, this is such a helpful tool that it should be made available to everybody in the world. And so he's the one who labeled it emotional freedom technique, because really it frees you from those emotions that are unwanted. The fear, the anxiety, the stress, the upset, the sadness, whatever it is, that's those lower emotions that most of us don't like to feel. It helps you release those so that you can live at a higher vibration. And when you live at a higher vibration, you can move toward joy and have more of what you want in the world. And your life is more joyful and happy and fulfilling. And wow, could you imagine what our world would be like if everybody had more joy? If everybody had more kindness and patience and understanding for one another and took time to listen, I just think there'd be so much less chaos, so much less fear, so much less murder, so much less abuse in our world if we knew how to manage our emotions. So it started out with Gary Craig, and Gary Craig made it accessible to everybody. He made it free. You can still download the training manuals now, and that's how originally I learned to do it. And then I thought, this is the coolest stuff ever. I have got to get certified in it. So I got the basic certification and then went and got the advanced certification. And today it's very common. There's tons of YouTube videos on it for various topics, and you can find lots of information on it everywhere. So I wanted to teach it to you today so that you can use it to reduce your stress. So let me talk about why tapping, of all things, on your body works. Well, there are energy meridian systems running through your body. And you might be familiar with them if you think about Chinese medicine. They reference the meridians in your body. And they talk about how they terminate in your hands, the bottoms of your feet, and the top of your head. There's like hundreds of them in the top of your head. And so these meridians are the channels that carry information, and it's not a brain thing, it's an energetic thing. So it's carrying information to the body for it to respond. But when you have a trauma or kind of a shock, then what happens is the energy meridians get a little wonky, right? They get a little off track. And acupuncturists use needles to bring that energy, which is also called qi, back into alignment where it should be. So it's running freely. And when we're under an odd or heavy amount of stress, like we have been for an extended period of time due to the pandemic and all the other things that are happening in our world, then our chi gets kind of mangled, and we become more reactionary instead of proactive, or we're emotionally reactive. And so we end up being more on the defensive than I don't mean the offensive, like trying to chuckle other people, but I mean more from going with the flow. So when our chi is in alignment and everything is working well, then we can go with the flow. So the difference between acupuncturists and EFT is we bring that chi back into alignment without having to use needles. And that makes me happy as all get out, because I'm not big into needles. I've had acupuncture and it's okay, but tapping works really effectively for me. So what happens when we're under stress is our parasympathetic nervous system kind of gets all wound up, and we can't use our frontal lobe, which is where we process information, weigh things out, and get clear on what needs to happen. We can't make good decisions. What happens is instead is our processing goes back to what is called our limbic brain, back here at the brain stem. That limbic brain is also called the reptilian brain. And the reptilian brain or limbic brain is responsible for three things. And maybe there's a fourth, but three most common things that I'm sure you've heard of. Well, first of all, it's either fight, pick a fight, defend yourself, fly away, flight, or freeze. And very often when we are under an awful lot of stress, we will freeze in the moment and we won't do anything. And the problem is a lot of us have been in that freeze moment for quite a while now due to fear from the pandemic situation that was so hard to know what was going on, so unclear, because we didn't know how contagious COVID was or how it was transmitted in the beginning. And so everyone was just in constant fear. So what happens is we no longer are able to, our chi is all jacked up, and we are stressing out, and now we're operating from our reptilian brain trying to make decisions. And so it's fight, flight, or freeze. Well, none of those are really helpful in the world, because we can't operate like that on a ongoing basis. So what we do to bring our chi back into alignment is we tap on the meridian points. And it doesn't mean we tap on all of the meridian points, because there's really a lot of them. They're on the side of your thumb, on your wrist, all of your fingers, palms of your hands. But what we do is we tap on 9 different points. And we start on the side of the hand right here. And we tap. And we talk about what it is that's stressing us out. And we say that, we talk about it and say what it is, and we acknowledge it. So our system is acknowledging what is stressing us out. And then what we do is we move on to the other 8 points. So the first one is where your eyebrow begins, and you can tap with 2 on both eyebrows or just 1. And then you can tap on the side of the eye, which is right here on the occipital bone. You could then tap under your eye, then under your nose, and then that little divot of your chin. What a weird place for your chi to terminate, right? But for some reason, this works. And the next place is your collarbone. And then under your arm and the top of your head. And when we do that, when we talk about it, and as you go through each part or each location, you talk about what it is that is upsetting to you. So let's do a round together, and we will take the idea of the feelings of stress and anxiousness due to all the chaos in the world and take it from there. And I'll tell you what, I'll lead you along the way. You do what I do. You tap where I tap and you say what I say. But I will lead you to each one of the locations and you can tap along. Before we start, I want you to take a moment and just kind of check in with yourself and say, where is my stress level right now? On a scale of 0 to 10, where's your stress level? Give me a number in the chat if you're following along, because I'd love to know, 10 being the highest, of course, 0 being, yeah, I am just chill. And, you may be somewhere in between. And so it's kind of fun to see if the number changes when we're done. Okay. Hey, Gina, thank you for let me know where you are at number wise on the scale. And I see you've got some deadlines coming up. So let's see if this brings some of your stress and anxiety down a little bit, and maybe you can clear up some of the stress so you can more freely be able to respond to those deadlines. And I want to thank Carolyn for joining us today. And she's at a 4, so she's pretty chill right now. She's probably been doing yoga this morning. And so she's already chill or close to it. All right, so we're going to focus on something probably we all have in common, is the stress of the chaos in the world right now. So if you'll begin with me and tap on the side of your hand, and it doesn't matter which hand you do. I just happen to be tapping on my left hand, and you just tap whichever hand feels appropriate to you. All right. And if you'll repeat after me, even though there's a lot, I'm sorry, let's start over. How did I want to write this? Okay. Even though I'm feeling a lot of stress and anxiousness due to all the chaos in the world, I love and accept myself anyway. Even though I am feeling a lot of stress and anxiousness right now, due to all the chaos in the world, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. We're going to do it one more time. Even though I'm feeling all the stress and anxiousness due to all the chaos in the world, I love and accept myself anyway. Now we're going to tap on where the eyebrows begin, okay? I'm feeling all this stress. Side of the eye. There is so much craziness going on in the world right now. Under the eye. People are killing one another. Under the nose. There are school shootings. Chin. People are getting in fights with one another at malls and stores and airlines. Collarbone. Things are just so crazy. I'm feeling so stressed. Top of the head. All the chaos in the world is making me feel anxious and stressed. Okay, what I'd like for you to do now is take 2 deep breaths. Now check in with your body again and type in the chat to let me know, is your stress level, the stress level you were feeling before on the scale from 0 to 10, still at the number that you had before, or has it come down? And if it's come down, what number has it come down to? Sometimes we can tap on one subject and it will affect the rest of our lives, the rest of the areas of our lives, because everything is interconnected. We don't live in little channels, you know, and like, oh, here's work, and I only have stress when I'm at work, and here's home, and it's a different stress when I'm at home. It's not like we live in different little channels where there's, you know, they're separated. Gina says she feels happy. She's at a 2. That's awesome, Gina. Congratulations. Yeah, terrific. I love it. So here's something I would like to do with Gina real quick, and the rest of you can tap along too. I know she's got deadlines coming up. So let's tap on that so she can meet her deadlines with joy and ease, because wouldn't that be awesome? So Carolyn says she feels more relaxed. I was having a stress moment right before I started watching. I think it's gone. Great. All right. So Gina, tap along, and Carolyn, feel free to tap along as well. So here we go. Even though I've got these deadlines coming up, and I'm feeling an awful lot of pressure to meet them, I love and accept myself anyway. Even though I've got these deadlines coming up, and I'm feeling an awful lot of pressure to meet them, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Even though I'm feeling all this pressure, how can I possibly meet these deadlines? I love and accept myself anyway, just the way I am. Okay, inner eyebrow. Wow, I have so many deadlines. I don't know how I'm going to meet them. Side of the eye. These deadlines just are creating all kinds of pressure. How am I going to ever reach them? Under the eye. These deadlines are killing me. I'm so afraid I'm not going to meet the deadline. Under the nose. The pressure I'm feeling right now, I know I'm doing to myself. Chin. I'd really like this to be a lot easier. Collarbone. I'd really like to meet my deadlines with ease and effortlessly. Top of the head. I'm ready to meet my deadlines on time, if not early, with ease and effortlessly. Okay. Take 2 breaths when you're finished. So hopefully your stress level has come down to a 1 or a 0, which means that you're going to be able to meet those deadlines more easily. And you may have noticed when we tapped through all the different points that I changed it up. It wasn't all negative all the way through. You noticed I started saying some positive things. And so sometimes we can tap in positive things after we've released some of the negative. Affirmations only work when they are believable, right? So we could say, oh, I'm going to be early and meet those deadlines. But the truth of the matter is the other part of our brain is going, oh, no, I'm not. I'm so behind. I can't, I'm never going to get caught up. And until we get rid of the negative talk, we can't add something positive. Your brain just will not believe it. But when we use tapping to release that, not only do we calm our parasympathetic nervous system, it brings us up from the limbic brain back up to our executive function brain, and it allows us to see possibilities and opportunities much more clearly and get a handle on things so that we know what our priorities are and can move easily through things. So I wish you the best of luck, Gina, with your deadlines. I know you've got some papers coming out soon, and though it's really important to get them out on time. So I just want to thank you all for joining me today. We will keep sharing more information about EFT, or that tapping thing, in the future. And if there's a topic that you would like to see me talk about in terms of releasing negative emotions, then please shoot me an email or send me a text or post something in Facebook about what you'd like to talk about, because there's an awful lot of stress in the world, and I'd love to see you have more joy and less stress. Joy is a choice. So please choose joy over everything else. God bless you. Take care and have a great weekend. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.